MC Laubscher has a mission to grow your money outside of Wall Street. Host of the Cash Flow Ninja, MC will show you how to increase your cash flow income streams in the new information economy. Owner of Valhalla Wealth, MC Laubscher will show you how to collapse time in your wealth plan and become financially free in 10 years or less. Get the premier strategies right now to create, protect, and multiply your wealth. Sign up now at yourownbankingsystem.com. That's yourownbankingsystem.com.
Welcome back to the Cash Flow Ninja podcast, where I interview cash flow ninjas weekly to share how to create income streams in the new economy and in the information age. And today I have a cash flow ninja and a marketing ninja. Joining me is Billie Jean. Is marketing. Love that tagline. Goes by a number of taglines attached to it. That's the big one. Also, the wolf of marketing. Billie, welcome to the show.
What's up, brother? Thank you for having me, man. First of all, I love your set. I like the background. I like the color scheme. I like everything about it.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And the branding, which I'm going to learn more from you about today as well.
Well, hey, watch this. Rule number one is be remembered. Like, you've done a lot of interviews. Immediately, it's impossible to forget you. I mean, you look, you see the colors. Like, I'm a fan, so well done.
Awesome. Now, for my listeners that I don't know how it's possible not to have heard of you, but that don't know who Billie Jean is marketing is, can you share a little bit about your background and your journey?
Absolutely. So I'll give you guys the summary. I believe I'm the best in the world when it comes to turning clicks into customers using paid ads. So paid Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, when you need to take a stranger and turn them into paying customers. That's what I do best. And so for the last few years, I've had an agency, and that's what they pay me to do, is they give me money to get them customers, the end. And in the last couple of years, that's kind of, I guess, transformed into a school. And so now we have a school to teach people customer acquisition, which sounds crazy, but in school, they don't teach that. They don't actually teach you how to get customers, which is just like, are you kidding me?
Right. It amazes me that some of the best skills out there that's going to be needed yesterday, today, tomorrow, marketing and sales, and how much of that do they teach us in public schools or just in school in general?
Public, private school, and here's the challenge is college starts teaching as if your company was already at $5 million plus. The hardest part about it is going from $0 to $1 million, period. Anyone who did that's the 0 to 100 again is the hardest part about business. And the fact that it's completely neglected in the education system is just mind-blowing to me. And so that's kind of like our niche, is we say, we teach you what you'll never learn in school, what you can't learn in school.
Absolutely. Now, talking about branding, which we've touched on, Billie Jean is marketing. What was the inspiration about that? Because you're a strategic guy. I've been looking at some of the stuff that you do. What was the story behind that?
Dude, it's actually really stupid. So are you familiar with the director Tyler Perry?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and most of everyone here has heard the name Tyler Perry. And pretty much, he's a black director and he does mostly black films. But here's what happened is years ago, I was watching this guy, kind of his climb, his rise to fame. And I said, how the hell does everyone know this guy's name? And because he did a simple tactic, in every single one of his movies that was released, he required that his name be mentioned before the title. So it sounded like this: Tyler Perry presents X, Y, and Z. Tyler Perry presents X, Y, and Z. Now think about it. The budget of a movie could be 10, 20, 30 million dollars. So every single time you just keep jamming in your face, Tyler Perry, Tyler Perry, Tyler Perry. Think about it. There's only a handful of directors in the world that you actually know first name. Right? There's George Lucas, there's James Cameron, there's mega names. And then there's this guy, Tyler Perry. How did he do it? And he just required his name be in there. So when I saw the power of the name and the association, I said, well, I got to do that too. So it wasn't just Billie Jean marketing. It's Billie Jean is marketing. In other words, when anyone in the world says the word marketing, by default, you have to think about me. You might hate me. You may not be a fan of me, but you're going to remember me. Right? Just that little moment. So that's really what actually triggered that.
And that's also a big way of trying to stand out in a world that is full of people trying to grab your attention, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. And it's catchy too. And every time someone says the name, they have to reread it. So if someone's meeting me for the first time or something, and they look down and they say, Billie Jean is marketing, and they have to say it 3 or 4 times. And so immediately it makes them capture it and say, okay, this is different and unique. And again, to be remembered. So that's my whole thing, is be remembered.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've also picked up a little bit from you, looking at some of the videos and the content that you create, is the conventional kind of marketing. I would say funnel is almost like, yeah, I'll give you a book and then I'll send you an emails and then, I'll try to sell you or get you into a group a little bit later, which you kind of took the opportunity and said, no, hang on a second. Yeah. I've got your attention now. Yeah. The entire world wants it. I've got it for a couple of minutes. I'm going to definitely try and sell you something as well.
Yeah, and so to piggyback off of, there's this limiting belief in the digital marketing world, especially in the world of content marketing, where you hear things like, well, you have to touch your customer 7 to 14 times before they're actually going to buy from you. So you just got to really be patient and just jab, 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 jab. Shut up. I mean, any small business owner, who the has that much time to wait to get paid? You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. And so here's what I figured out. I figured out that if you have the ability to entertain, if you have the ability to make people laugh, then you can skip a lot of the steps. So instead of waiting to like date 7 to like ask for the sale or whatever it is, if I can make you laugh enough, if I can show enough creativity, if I can show enough of my personality, if I can show you enough of my team, then holy cow, I don't actually have to wait for any of that stuff. And once I realized that, it allowed our sales cycle to be super fast and allows us to spend a whole bunch of money in advertising.
And it also kind of takes you out of that, you call it the no-buy zone, but that friend zone. It's just the same as dating, right? Exactly. Because the people then get used to just consuming your content, but they're never going to do business with you.
Well, because it's awkward, right? So imagine like you've been following someone for 30 days. And on these 30 days, they just keep hitting you with value, all this free stuff, this free stuff, this free stuff. And then all of a sudden, one day they take it out and they're like, hey, I want you to buy something. Your first reaction is like, oh, no, John. Not you too. Are you really trying to? Oh man, I thought you were one of the good guys who would never try and make a living and build a profit. And I don't want to. Don't, man, I'm selling every time. On this interview, I will sell. You put me on stage, I will sell. Like it doesn't matter. I'm always going to be selling, and I want my audience to understand that, embrace it, and I want them to duplicate it. And as long as you're leading with value, it's okay to sell. I can sell because I know that on this interview, we're going to drop so many bombs together that's going to help people. We've earned the right to ask for money.
Right, right. And one of the things that you've done really well is obviously the advertising and advertising campaigns and models. And I mean, in today's age, I don't know who was said this quote, but it was something to the effect that the person that's going to be able to outspend everybody to acquire a customer, yes. Initially, those are the people that's going to win in the end. Yeah. Can you share a little bit more of just of your strategic thinking behind advertising campaigns and how you approach it?
Sure, and I'll kind of chime into what you're saying. I just actually had a dinner at my house yesterday, and I was explaining the concept of why most low-priced physical products sell or don't sell, and they usually fail. Like they don't become businesses. Right. So let's imagine that you have a product, a widget that costs you $20, okay, and that's your actual sales price. But then your cost is $10 on it. So like you think when you're starting off like, oh, look, there's $10 for me to play with. That's my quote unquote profit. The one mistake that I see almost all business owners make is the fact that they do not account for how much they're going to have to spend in advertising dollars to get somebody to say yes. If something like a Facebook cost $1 per click on average, that means you would have to convert 1 out of 10 people to get that $10 profit margin that they look for, and now you're break even on your product and you don't make any money. And so what I'm encouraging everyone to do, and I hope that makes sense, which basically what I'm saying in short is this: most of you do not have the margins to be advertising, which is why you don't advertise. But if you don't advertise, you're never going to grow. See the chicken and the egg thing?
Right.
So what I want to stress everyone here today is the only thing stopping you from having better margins is your lack of creativity, meaning you're not thinking of what else you can sell on the back end of your first product, or a service that you can provide in addition, or the data that you're collecting that may be worth something to a different company. So there's other ways to monetize your business other than just your little teeny product, whatever it is. And so the ones who do realize that, they end up making a lot more money, which gives them more margin to outspend the competition. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get tactical for a second. So if somebody's listening to this, and I have real estate investors and entrepreneurs and business owners listening to the show, and they're sitting down with a blank piece of paper and they're ready to start a advertising campaign. Is there something that you can share? I know you've talked about an exercise of basically strategically and then tactically how they can implement and execute this.
Let's start with, I think, what's called the basis of any advertising campaign. So there's one thing that I do really well and that all companies do well that are growing like crazy, and it's one is they capture attention. Two is they capture leads, meaning they're building up a database of name, email, phone numbers that they can follow with in the future. And then three, they sell. They're freaking salesmen. They're not afraid to sell. So step one, when building any kind of advertising campaign, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, podcasts, billboards, or whatever it may be, is this. Narrow down your audience of who you're talking to. So for example, if you say that you're in the, give me an industry, for example, like you said, real estate.
Real estate, real estate investing.
First of all, you can't just be the real estate guy / girl. You either have to be the first time home buyer, the luxury home buyer, the foreclosing specialist, whatever the niche is, right? That's what you got to be. So that's step one. Once you identify the exact audience you go to, you need to do a very simple exercise. So everyone listening, I want you to take out a blank piece of paper. And on this blank piece of paper, I want you to write a giant T, the letter T, as in turtle. And on the left-hand side, I want you to write problem. On the right-hand side, I want you to write solution. And I want you to write the 3 biggest challenges that your ideal customer is facing. So for example, if you're going a real estate agent and you're the specialist for first-time home buyers, 3 greatest challenges that they're facing is, where do I come up with the down payment? I don't have enough credit, right? My credit's not established yet. And can I afford the monthly? Right? So there's this whole education process.
Right.
So in order, if you want to create an advertisement to attract those people, all you have to do is solve one of those problems for free and then charge them to solve the other 2. So for example, you run an ad and say, hey, how to buy your first home with 0 to like 2% down in 2018 of January. Super simple. And then you create a short video because you're also selling yourself. Everyone is so caught up on these like ebooks and shit and these cheat sheets. People buy from people. So why are you hiding behind a document that nobody really cares about? You need to get on video and send them a document in addition and solve their problem right there. And then you say, hey, Mr. Customer, if your challenge right now is coming with down payment, then I would bet that you're also worried about paying a high interest rate, and you're also worried about not being approved because your credit's not established. My name is Billy Jean, and I help people just like you buy a home every single day. Below this video is going to be my phone number. Shoot me a text message. I'd love to hop on the phone with you. I'll run your credit for you, and I'll tell you exactly how much you're approved for. You don't have to buy anything, but at least you have the information, and you know if you're capable to buy. The end. Done.
Right.
So once we understand the problems, and now we can position ourselves as the solution, you can use that same process for virtually any industry, product, physical, or service on the planet, and repeat it again and again. That's all I really do every single time. Every single campaign you ever see me run, I'm just solving problems.
And the other thing that you touched upon too is when people don't spend money and, you know, they think that it's organic, it's just going to come, you know, it's just built it and it will come kind of stuff. It's like, no, if nobody knows the field of dreams is there, nobody's going to go to the field of dreams.
Let me tell you, to my people who aren't advertising or afraid of it, or you're looking for like the best way to grow organically, organically is spelled one way, and it's SLOW, slow. It's just slow because there's no controlling variables. In other words, organic is the same who comes up to me and says super proudly and smugly, well, I'm sorry, Billy Jean, I don't do any advertising because my business has only relied on referrals and great service for the last 20 years. I say, oh, that's interesting. What have your sales been for the last 5 years? And they're like, 3 million. And I'm like, okay, has there been any increase? Nope, just 3 million. Wait, so what you're telling me is you've been stuck at the same place for 3 years because you've ran this concept of you're only dealing with referrals. Right. That's why they lose, man. That's why they lose. And the second that a referral gets mad or a distribution source gets shut down, they go out of business. They don't know what to do because you don't know how to fish, my friend. You know how to cook. You can go to the market. You can buy fish, and once they give it to you and it's prepared and it's all sautéed, you can cook. But what happens if you can't? What happens if that grocery store goes down? You're done. So that's when you understand how to use paid advertising and turn that into customers, you're the fisherman. You can go out there with boots, some overalls, and your drawers, and you can get as much fish as you want.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And the other thing, as you mentioned, it holds them back from scaling. And you talk a lot about outsourcing and try to source not just in your business, but anything that you possibly can is outsourced to someone else. Can you speak to the power of that and tie that into a little bit of a scaling context too? How that would help people scale that business that's stuck at a certain spot?
So I'll talk to the people, especially like when you're in that 0 to 1 million mark. A lot of people believe that they don't have the cash flow to hire other people. It's just because you're only thinking that you have to hire people on full-time salary with benefits. That comes later. But in the beginning, what you have to realize is there's this vicious cycle that all businesses go through. And the reason why most businesses actually don't ever grow or mature is because of this. When you first start a company and it's just you solo, you're the everything. You're the salesman, you're the accountant, you're the attorney, you're the assistant, you're all these things. So what happens is you're also the salesperson. And the first thing that happens to any business is you have to have a seller. Nothing else exists, right? Right. Now, once you have a sell, your business is activated. But once it's activated, you have to fulfill the sell. So you went from spending 100% of the time to selling to now spending 50% of your time fulfilling, which means your sales just got cut in half, which now you don't have enough money to survive. So you go back to the sales side and stop fulfilling, and you keep switching positions. First you're salesman, then you're fulfilling. And you do that for 30 years. If you're looking at your bank account right now and you're like, damn, he's totally right. I know I'm right. Because your business is not unique. This is what happens with any business, right? So you gotta be able to duplicate yourself and be able, someone else has to be able to fulfill the product or service that you're giving, or you're never gonna grow. You're gonna be stuck like Chuck.
Right. And that ties into outsourcing and outsourcing advertising campaigns. So if someone's looking for an agency, what are some of the things that you can share with them to look for? And what are some of the things that they have to look out for as well?
If you're looking for an agency to do this for you, look for one word. It's called proof. Remember this quote, nothing sells like proof. In other words, Mr. Customer, understand that I get prospected every single day about agencies who can do X, Y, and Z for me. Do you mind just showing me what you've done? That's it. And let them just show you, man. Like here's numbers will always dictate. Numbers will always dictate. And watch this. If the people don't have proof, then say, well, visually show me what you're going to do for me. Show me how the customer is notified. Have clarity. If you're dealing with a marketing agency and they can't clearly in a straight line show you how they can help, then run the other way because they don't really know. You know what I mean? They don't know. Go the other way. Get out of there, man. Scram.
Right. And to your point too, from what you've mentioned earlier, if you have a good agency running this for you, your advertising shouldn't cost you anything.
Exactly.
If you put a buck in and you get 20 out every single time, how much are you willing to put in there?
Is it a ton? And that's why you can make a load of money as an agency, because if you're good at producing results, then the margins are there because you created them, right? So you can demand accordingly. When you're the rainmaker, you can control it. That's why I always say it's the most lucrative skill set in the world once you master it. But when you don't master it and you're just getting started, you have to understand that you're the struggling med school student. You're the struggling law student. You're just getting your chops up. So don't feel bad about yourself, but understand that you're a noob. You're a noob. You're just a rookie in this game, and you're getting paid exactly what you deserve, which is nothing, because you can't produce nothing yet. Right. And own that. That's okay, because it's temporary.
Now, digital marketing is an ever-evolving space. Things are changing. New trends are coming in. People are trying new things. You try a lot of stuff. What are some of the things that you're seeing out there that's changing? What are some of the platforms that folks are moving to, and what works right now?
So I think we're actually coming to a point where there's going to be, like, you have your major juggernauts. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, they will have their time for the next decade, 5 years to decade, of the ABC, the NBC, the Fox News. You know what I'm saying? Like they will be the players. Right. However, right now the trend is in current 2018 is that everyone's saying Facebook. They're just coming. When I started selling Facebook ads 5 years ago, and you can only advertise on the right side, right column, everyone's like, it doesn't work. And now everyone's like, well, I know I need to be doing Facebook, but I'm not yet. So our company, we always try and zag when the market zigs. So everybody's talking about Facebook. So what are we talking about this year? YouTube. Right. YouTube is the most untapped people. I'm talking mega millionaires are being born every single day on YouTube. The people who understand how to use the advertising platform. Like Ty Lopez, the most well-known social media marketer in the world, whether you guys like him or dislike him, doesn't matter. The most well-known in the world he made his rise because of YouTube advertising. He's competing in a marketplace where nobody else is playing, and he won.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's done phenomenal on that. Other things that I'm seeing, what do you think of Instagram as an Instagram stories, Snapchat? Is that still
it depends where your audience is, So like a lot of people say like Snapchat's dying, but if you still have like 13 to 18-year-old girls and that's who you're trying to sell to, no, they're not. They're not dying at all because that's where your customers are. The thing is y'all, you can't get married to any one particular platform.
Right.
You just have to understand. Like, that's why I always teach formulas and process. Because when I'm teaching you with the whole problem solution, did you guys realize I didn't say click this on Facebook, da-da-da? That problem solution exercise that I gave you just a minute ago is transferable to all of the platforms. Right. So you can't lose. You understand? So it's just like wherever's the cheapest. Like people say like billboards are crazy right now. Billboards are going to come to a point where it's only like $1,000 to like get the best real estate. And guess what? They're going to be super profitable again. So you just got to go where the cost is, So Facebook is going to see a hike in price. So YouTube's going to be crowded. Now people are going to start coming over and then they'll go to something else. It's just a cycle. Find where the cheap attention is and then go all in.
Absolutely. Now, Billy, things are changing in your industry. You're always studying and staying ahead of it. What are you currently studying right now, and what are you excited about for 2018?
So we got a cheat sheet, man. So as we've grown our community, so Billy Jean's Gene Pool, right? We got 2,500 members in it. They're all paying somewhere between $100 and $200 a month, but majority of them are marketers. When you have a community like that, that's all sharing what's working and what's not, that's what I mean. It's kind of cheating, right? Because not only do we get our experiences as an agency, we get to kind of cherry pick and see what's going on. And I have another thing called the School of Genius where we have another 600 professional marketers just testing stuff. So our best resources right now are the streets. We know what's actually working and what's not. Then in addition to that, a lot of peers, man, I study the game just like everybody else does. I follow your Grant Cardones and your Garys and your Tyler, all those people that like you may see us meet and hang out, but I'm still studying them. I'm still talking shit when I see them. Like I'm coming for that ass, so it's just learn from everybody. There's almost, if you can sit with someone and you don't have the ability to learn anything from them, and I don't care who they are, you're the fool.
Right.
Understand, you're the fool in the room if you can't learn anything. So that's when I love meeting people when they're so arrogant and they just think they know it all and they don't invest in the coaching. They don't invest into mentoring. Like I have 3 business coaches right now. I got Cameron Harold, right? He was the COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. He took them from $2 million to $100 million. Yep. I got Frank Kern and Roland Frazier, a digital marketer. And that's my circle. Why? Because they've all accomplished things that I have not yet. And so they're able to know what I don't know. Right. So the biggest mistake you guys can make is trying to figure shit out yourselves.
Absolutely. And that's why I love doing this show. I've got my notes here.
It's beautiful, right? You probably learned so much. What a great job.
It's amazing to interview guys such as yourself and learn and continue to learn every single week.
Dude, you should write a book called Cashflow Ninja. This is what I learned.
Absolutely.
I mean, dude, really though, think about that. Just one page on each person and just make it like a greatest hits, like Tim Ferriss's Tribe of Mentors or whatever. Dude, just a one page of like, here it is. People would eat that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this ties into the next question that I'm going to ask you is one of the things that I've studied and learned from very, very wealthy and successful people is when they transfer wealth onto next generations, right? It isn't just the money that they transfer on because that goes like that, but they transfer skill sets over, they transfer knowledge, guidelines, and then values and principles. So I ask each one of my guests, if you cannot pass on money to future generations, but we're only allowed to pass on 3 principles to them to build wealth and achieve happiness and success, what would they be?
Wow, I love that question. I'm going to say something that's it's kind of along the lines, but something different because I don't think many people are thinking about this. Influence and social assets are real assets that have monetary value, meaning leaving your children a Facebook fan page with millions of likes is a real monetary asset that they can leverage for decades to come. That's what people don't get. That's not a game. So a principle, like as I build up a social following and influence, please believe there will be a way for me to have my daughter be able to run these machines that we're creating today, these processes to leverage. So that's a different type of investment no one's thinking about right now, right? It's content assets. So I want everyone to think about that. Like the idea of going on a rampage right now and buying Facebook groups because it's much cheaper to advertise to them or Facebook fan pages is a really smart investment. In addition to that, the number one thing that I tell my daughter right now, and she's only 2, is this. If you want to make a lot of money, get good at something that everybody sucks at.
Right.
Period. You're always in demand. So right, my thing that I'm good at, that everyone sucks at, is customer acquisition using all of this wild, wild west technology. So I can make a lot of money. So that's my whole thing, is just tell her, I don't give a don't like it. I don't care about any of that. You better have some kind of tangible skill set that's going to allow you to not have to stress about your bills. Every time you're stressing about your bills, because your skill set's not that nice. Right. And also, lastly, I'm going to require her to be a salesman, because I know a lot of people with skill sets, but they can't sell for shit. So their skill set's worth nothing. So my daughter will be door-to-door sales. She will be doing cold calls. She will be doing cold emails. And I want her to own rejection. I want her to get so comfortable basking in rejection that she's going to be invincible. So tell your children, don't be afraid. Go out and get their asses kicked. I hope she falls down. I hope she scrapes her knee. I hope she gets bruises. I hope she comes home crying. I hope she wants to quit multiple times. Because then by the time she's an adult, she's going to be ready to everybody. So those are the 3 principles I'd say.
No, absolutely. And thank you for sharing them. Billy, where can my listeners and audience and everybody looking at, where can they follow you, reach out to you, and get in touch and find out more about what you guys are doing? Guys,
every single week I teach stuff you weren't learning in school that immediately you can use to make money. Go to trythegenepool.com, Gene. Trythegenepool.com. Try it out. You think you can try it out for free and just hang out with us for a week and see if you don't learn more in one session with me than you ever have in any sort of collegiate classroom you've ever been in, period. And if you're cheap as and you don't like paying for just follow us on Facebook. Go to Facebook, follow us. We go live a lot inside of our office here in San Diego. And you can literally, we live stream, we teach for free all of the time. Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BillyGeniusMarketing. I got more free tactical videos than I think anyone in the world. Tactical videos. Now, notice the catch, right? You got people like Gary who got a ton of videos, right? Grant, they got a ton of videos right now, but they're motivational. You want tactical, like how to do, there's no one in the world who's got us.
Yeah, you have a ton of stuff there. I'll put links in all of the show notes for this episode. Billy, this has been a blast connecting and having you on. I've really, really enjoyed it. Bring a ton of energy to everything that you do. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for providing so much value for my listeners.
Hey, thank you, brother. And guys, everyone, you guys keep listening. Keep listening to this, man. Cashflow Ninja. If you guys don't, you're stupid. You're dumb. You're a bad person if you stop listening to this podcast. Your credit score will decrease by 500 points if you stop listening to this podcast. You will trip and you will fall down when you leave the next room you go into if you stop listening to this podcast. So keep listening forever. Keep getting smarter so you're never the dumbest person in the room on accident.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much.